Hey y'all, hey, this is your girl Diamond Crystal, also known as the Gallivanting Grandma, and I am back tonight with another interview. I do a lot of gallivanting in these international streets, and I have the pleasure of meeting up with some of the most phenomenal people. But if you follow my YouTube channel, you probably know that already. I'm giving a little bit away by the banner on the bottom of the screen. So you already know that I'm getting ready to talk to one of the brothers in these international streets. How about that? I'm always talking to amazing sisters about this international journey, this expat journey. But this time I'm going to talk to a friend of mine, and we're going to chop it up just like we do with the sister girls. But for those of you who may be new to my channel, let me introduce myself. I am Diamond Crystal, the Gallivanting Grandma, and I am a global nomad, five-star international house sitter, travel ambassador, and global connector, intentional connector for those women who are over 55 looking to embrace a new journey in life with grace and ease. All right, enough about me. Y'all came to hear from my guest, and I'm going to bring him to the stage right now. Hey, 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 my friend.
Hey, Diamond.
How are you, Boquete Bill?
I'm doing all right. Everything's cool here in Boquete. I'm just chilling. I was chilling, waiting for the Gallivanting grandma to hook
Well,
up.
listen, you say chilling, and I am jealous just by that word because it is hella hot here in Barbados.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the temperature like in Boquete?
Oh, it's 72 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, what?
Yep.
Listen, I am still battling like 89 degrees this
Dang.
evening. So the fan is going. Here the air conditioning is only in the bedroom, and I'm not talking to you in the bedroom. So it's like the struggle is real. But listen, I'm in Barbados. What can I complain about?
Hey, no, not a thing.
Not
Not,
a thing. So listen, I want to thank you first of all for joining me. When I was doing my introduction, I said that you are the first brother that I'm speaking to in these international streets. And I talk to a lot of people, but you're my first guy.
wow. You know what? I might
What?
change my nickname to the First Brother. You know, like my man Doug gonna end up being the first man. I'm the first brother. I am
Okay,
honored.
you said it. You said it. Is that a prediction?
I'm hoping.
Hey, keep hope alive. And if that's
Yeah.
one thing that has changed in the last couple of weeks is that there is some hope, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Homegirl ready
man.
for him. She ready.
Oh man. All right. Well, we ain't gonna talk
Okay.
politics.
Right, right,
We're
right,
not
right.
gonna, because I could go down that rabbit hole real easily.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with
I understand. All right, Boquete Bill. They know who I am, but introduce yourself for my viewers.
you. Okay. Number one, I'm a friend of Diamonds,
Yes, he
alias,
is.
alias GG, the Gallivanting Grandma. I'm a 71-year-old brother from Detroit, and
Mm-hmm.
um, and I used to work for the State Department, and I did foreign military sales,
Okay.
and so I got around to a lot of countries,
Yeah.
right?
All right.
So around mid 2000s, things didn't go right because I was traveling a lot. Marriage didn't work. That
I
was
know a little
over.
bit about that.
Yeah. I retired. Thank God. Um, my mother told me. She said, "William, always take care of yourself to
Yeah.
be ready for when you retire because you're gonna love it."
Oh my goodness.
And I do. And my mama was right again. But anyway, the
Mm.
marriage didn't work out, and I was trying to think what I would do with my life. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember, hey, look, I always travel, and I didn't feel like settling down again in the USA,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
I did what expats do. I typed in best places in the world to retire,
That
right?
part right there. That
Right,
part.
right. And the usual suspects came up. Thailand, Panama. You know them better than I do.
Yep.
Ecuador, Portugal. You know the lineup.
Yep. Yep.
And I did my research on each, and I said, well, let me go see what Costa Rica is about.
Okay.
Because one of my main requirements was no winter.
I know that's right. You know I boycott winter.
I know you do. I know you
I
do.
do.
I know you do.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna make a long story short. So
Uh-huh.
I looked up Afro Americans in Costa Rica,
Yeah. Yeah.
and La Terraza Bed and Breakfast came up.
All right, hold up. Hold up, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Hold time the heck out. You
yeah.
know, as much as I want you to continue on with this story, and we'll pick it right back
All
up.
right, all
You
right.
said La Terraza and Costa Rica. Now, you know, I just came off the heels of my Wanderlust Wellness Retreat in Costa Rica, and Charles hosted us like the queens that my ladies are at La Terraza. It was a
I know it.
fabulous experience. I'm telling you, it's a big, small world, is it not?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was there for 14 months.
What, at La Terraza?
Yeah,
Well, I could see why, because it is absolutely beautiful. I
right.
mean, picturesque and up in the mountains and, you know, close to all the natural springs. Go ahead. I'm
Okay,
excited.
so I hooked up with Janetta, the owner of the bed and breakfast, and
Yeah.
uh, and she had a friend about 10 months into my stay. She had a friend, American, who had married a Costa Rican lady,
Mm-hmm.
and he was going to Panama to
Okay.
to scout locations. He wanted to open up little league batting cages.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, see, yeah. So
Yeah.
she said, Bill, he's looking for someone to go to split the expenses, and would you be interested? And I thought
Uh-huh.
about it, and she told me right off the bat, Diamond. She said, look, you need to get out more.
Oh, what was you in seclusion or something? You said you was in
Well,
military
it's
sales.
a
Were
long
you in
story.
hiding or something?
It was a long story, but anyway, I went with them. And so we rode the bus to David,
Right.
got a rental car,
Mm-hmm.
and we rode all around. He had his son with him too, and we went to different Panama City, um, um, David,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Santiago. We went to different cities to scout out places. And then finally he said, look, before we go back to Costa Rica, I want to show you this little town, Bill. Yeah. So
Uh-huh.
he bought me here, and we went to the Pantamonte, which is
Uh-huh.
a hotel and a bar and stuff. And me and his son, we at the bar slamming them down. That's when I was still doing that.
Yeah.
And and and
Yeah.
he's a ladies' man, so he had set himself by the hotel fireplace, and he was talking to these two white sisters, and
Uh-huh.
he
Uh-huh.
and he came over to me and his son and said, "Come on, we going to eat lunch." So we went to a place called Big Daddy's. I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember Big Daddies. Yeah.
And we were in there eating fish tacos and drinking beer. And I said, you know what? Off the top of my head, Diamond, I said,
Mm.
this is a nice little town.
Yeah.
And one of the ladies there said, oh, Bill, you thinking about moving here? And I said, no, but I could live here.
Yeah.
So she said, well, I've got a casita out in my place. And I said, number one, what is a casita?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And number two, where's your place? Well, make a
Right.
long story short, I ended up where the two of us went for lunch, remember?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I lived there, and I decided when I saw her place, I'm coming here, so I gave her 2 months rent, and that's how I got here.
And the rest is history. And
The
you
rest is
became
history.
Boquete Bill.
Yes, I did. I've been here
Oh
10
my
years.
goodness.
I've been here 10 years.
10 years. All right. Well, let's pause there and talk about that, because I talk to a lot of aspiring expats and folks who are just beginning their journey. And then
Uh-huh.
other sisters who, are just scouting around like me. I'm dating countries, because I don't really know what country is, going tickle my fancy, going tell me, yeah, this feels like home. But somebody who has already been out the United States full time for 10 years is something different. Something different. Tell me a little bit about how it feels being outside the United States full time. As a Black man, how does it feel?
That I'm glad you brought up the obvious fact that I'm a Black man, because that was important for me in my
Yep.
search.
Yeah.
How do they feel about us?
Yes. It's a real thing.
How do they treat us? So that was part of it. But I feel free. I
Ooh. Ooh.
my search is over.
Yeah.
I'm where I need to be, but I got here by being inquisitive and
Uh-huh.
wanting to change. And I had, because I was in foreign military sales, I knew that there were other ways to live other than America.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
You
And
know,
that exposure made, I think, your decision making process a little bit easier and a little bit less stressful, because you didn't have that anxiety about being outside of the United States, right?
that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So with military sales, let's back up to that, because that's real interesting. Um, what was your most fascinating country that you visited?
Ooh, that's a hard one there.
Yeah, well, I got to ask some Oprah type questions.
Ooh, uh, I would say Australia for its sheer beauty and difference in climates
Mm,
and coastal and mountainous and desert and urban. Um, the best place I've ever been in my life was Oman.
really?
Yeah,
So
Oman.
that's Middle East, right?
Yeah, Muscat. It's on the Saudi Arabian Peninsula.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
it's right next to Saudi Arabia. And if I remember correctly, the people there, they're our color, and they came
Hmm.
from, I think they came from Zanzibar. I'll verify that and get back to you. But I think they
Yeah.
came from Zanzibar. They were drove out, or they decided to leave, or something. Anyway, they don't have a prince. They have a sultan,
Right.
right? And it's a sultanate, and it's more Western than Kuwait and Saudi Arabia, but it's
Hmm.
got, that's where Sinbad's supposed to be from.
Hey, who knows? That's
Yeah,
his story. He's sticking to it.
exactly. But it has the desert forts and the hot springs in the center. It's got the mountains. Of course, it's got the pristine Indian Ocean, and it was virtually no crime. And the people that ran the country looked like me and you.
Yeah. I don't know. That might have been a hard decision for me. Had I visited someplace like that, where everybody looked like me.
Well,
You know that.
that was my first choice, Diamond. But they
Uh huh.
weren't giving residencies to just anybody. They
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
giving
Yeah.
residencies only to people who had certificates to teach English, or if you worked for a Western company that was in the country and you
Yeah.
retired there.
Right. 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 That's how a lot of people initially started venturing out, was with those teaching opportunities and the tax benefits that came with that,
Bingo.
because they were making all that money overseas and they didn't have to pay taxes on it. So I mean, talk about double dipping, man. You could retire early on that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, we're gonna back up and take it a little bit more personal, one-on-one. I'm getting a
Okay.
little bit of feedback. Are you hearing that?
No.
Okay.
Is it
All right.
still there? Let me turn it down. Let me turn my volume down.
Yeah, maybe.
Is that better?
Let me see. Yes, that's much better.
Much better?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So let's back it up and take it personal, one on one. Listen, I met you in Boquete, but I met you through a mutual friend.
Yeah.
And
That blew my mind.
man, I say it again, it's a big, small world. I mean, what are the chances that you and I know the same person and y'all went to high school together? So everybody who's on my YouTube channel already knows Wendy with the white hair. Everybody knows my house sitting partner. And y'all went to high school together.
Yeah, I'm telling you now. I mean, what are we talking here?
A long
50
time
something
ago.
years ago. No, 58 years ago, something like that.
Ooh.
That's
God, I
crazy.
mean, what are the odds? What are
That's
the
crazy.
odds?
It's crazy.
So Wendy and I have our first house sit of the year together, and this is January when we were in Boquete, and we knew we had mutual friends from Ecuador, so we reached out to them, and we were gonna hook up with them, and then somebody said to her, well, Bill is in Boquete and been there for a long time, and she was like, what? Like, are you joking me right now?
Yeah.
So, got the number, reached out, and I have to say to my viewers that this gentleman right here, and I use that word intentionally, this gentleman right here, man, rolled out the freaking red carpet for your girls. I mean, from picking us up from our location, and then let's talk about Small World, because you knew our house sitting hosts.
That's correct.
Y'all were fishing buddies. So it was all this mind boggling stuff going on, like pinch me moments, right? When we first met. Picked us up, showed us around, took us out to the most fabulous restaurants on his dime. So, gentlemen is the right word, and chivalry is not dead, ladies. That's all I can say.
Well, thank you,
Y'all just
Donna. It
got to
was my
get to the
pleasure.
right place at the right time with the right brother, because chivalry is not dead.
It's my pleasure. But as soon as I found out it was a W and from Cass, it was on.
Oh my gosh. I mean, y'all were like, I was cracking up because I was like the third wheel at that point, because y'all were like, oh my God, I can't believe it's you. I can't believe it's you. And y'all looking each other up and down like, time has been kind to you. You looking good too. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like a little family class reunion.
And you know what we all three have in common is
Uh,
we have that curiosity gene, that inquisitiveness that wants us to go out and see the world. That's the
see
key.
the world. You're absolutely right. Because when I first posed it to Wendy, I was like, we could tag team some of these sits. And she was like, well, I want to get out of Detroit for the winter.
Right,
I
right.
said, well, let's do the damn thing. And we wound up being together almost 6 months.
Yeah, that's
Gallivanting
good.
all over the world. People was like, is that Wendy with the white hair? I mean, it was an amazing experience. It really
Yeah,
was.
yeah. And thank you for sharing your journeys with me.
Well, it is my pleasure. That's what I do. I got to talk about it because there are so many of us who think that this is beyond reach. So
That's true.
let's
That's
talk
true.
about how feasible leaving the United States is for those of us who are nearing retirement.
Well, Diamond, another big attraction for me was cost of living.
Say it again, please.
Huh? COL,
That
cost
is
of
real
living.
talk.
Real talk. It was right up there in my top three considerations.
Uh huh.
Um, and that's one of the reasons why I feel free here. I feel
Mm,
free in a physical security type of way because it's very low crime.
yeah.
See, I
Hmm.
feel secure as far as economically because it's cheaper it's cheaper and therefore my retirement pension goes further.
Say that again. Yes,
Huh?
indeed.
See?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
therefore I ain't stressing. And plus, where I'm from right here, it's the farm belt,
Okay.
right? That's where they
Mm,
grow all the vegetables, fruits, dairy and all that. So we don't pay transportation costs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So let's talk about the difference in the quality of food available in Panama versus the trash that, the majority of the US is eating on a regular basis.
Well, it's fresher. It's
Yep.
uh it's their big thing is fruits and vegetables and dairy.
Yeah.
Um, they themselves, in my opinion, eat too much simple starches,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
like white rice and stuff like that. But for someone who's into eating right and getting more bang for the dollar, this is the
Mm-hmm.
place to be, or a place like this. This isn't the only place like this on the planet. You know that.
Oh, well, I know, but we want to make sure
More than
that
me.
we open it up to the viewers who may not have been outside the United States.
Right, right.
The fruits and vegetables are so much more fresh. I was having a conversation with my
And
daughter
cheap and
just
cheaper. Cheaper.
and cheaper. I was having a conversation with Simone just the other day, and she was like, I decided I'm not going to eat this fruit that I picked up at the market because I sliced the apple and went away for about an hour. And wait a minute, and it didn't turn brown.
Oh wow.
So,
Something ain't right
so
there.
that right there tells you that's not something that you really want to eat,
Weedu,
right?
weedu is alert.
That's a red flag right there, if ever. Yeah. So the quality and the availability, and like you said, the cost factor. I talk a lot about maximizing your travel dollars, maximizing your 401k, your pension, your social security, whatever it is that you have that is supporting you in your retirement years. It goes so much further outside the United
True
States.
that. Verdad. True that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And you live so much better. You said you feel free, and that's been a resounding sentiment with any and everyone that I talk to on my channel that has been outside the United States for any amount of time is that level of freedom. You're not dealing with the stresses that come with living in the States every day.
No, absolutely. You're
Particularly
right.
the microaggressions, not even micro, the real aggressions against Black men in the United States carves years off of your lives.
Yeah.
You know?
For those people out there, your audience,
Uh huh.
another thing, y'all, when I say I'm free, I feel physically safe. You know,
Yeah.
a small country can be protected more. It's not too big. It doesn't get out of hand of the authorities to enforce law.
Mm hmm. Mm
So I feel
hmm.
physically safe here. It's very low crime rate. We already talked about the economic freedom.
Yeah.
And another thing is the aesthetic beauty.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been to your home there, and just looking out is it's nothing but peace and calm.
It's
You
paradise,
can't.
y'all.
It is paradise, y'all. I'm telling you. And where Wendy and I were house sitting was another slice of paradise. Just looking out
I
over
knew the
the.
people in that house.
That's what I said. I mean, it
Okay,
was
all
a
right, yeah,
big,
you did. Yeah,
small world. It was just
yeah,
really, really crazy.
it's
But
crazy.
the stress level immediately comes down.
Yeah, it
You're
does.
in that type of a setting. So,
Yeah, it does.
physically, you're saying that you're feeling the best.
I'm feeling the best. I don't know if I shared with you when I went home in late March to get my hip replacement.
Uh huh.
I've been here all these years. When I went back to Motown, man, I was on edge because shit was moving too fast
How
for
about
me.
that?
Yeah, I was sharing that with W.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so interesting. Now, you being from the Motor City
Yeah,
and me being a New Yorker, it's just a fast pace, right? You always on that hustle and grind. Your head is always on a swivel.
right.
You moving fast all the time. And once you get out of that environment, it's almost like what's going on? Why is everybody moving so fast? You know, you got to get readjusted to that
Oh
kind of a
yeah.
lifestyle.
For that's real talk. That I mean, anyway. So I worked it out, But another thing, Grandma, is uh, once in no really, Gigi, once in a while, I do want a big city fix,
Okay.
so I just go 8 hours to Panama City for a weekend,
How about that?
and I really
Absolutely.
enjoy it because I know I can go back to Mayberry RFD.
There you go. That's right. That's right. And you know, it I said Boquete is a small town that you can really wrap your arms around.
That's a
Every
good way to
place,
put it. That's a good
yeah,
way to put it.
every place that we went felt very familiar. The people were very welcoming. And after like just a couple of days of being out and about, you felt like, oh, I know where I am. I know where I am. You could kind of wrap your arms around that place.
That's why I tell you that I'm home. I'm not the most social person, but I'm like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? And a cup of coffee, and I'm gone. Some people call me the ghost.
Oh,
But
Phantom.
I
We're gonna start calling you Phantom Boquete Bill.
First Brother will do. But but
Self-proclaimed.
what
Yes.
I did is I rent a house, which is another thing. I guess we'll talk about later on about renting as opposed to buying, but that's down the road, I guess.
No,
Anyway,
no. Let's stay right there because you brought it up. Let's talk about that
okay,
because you know.
the horror stories that you know about of people going to another country that they think they might, for instance, want to retire to, and
Hmm.
they don't stay there long enough to get the full flavor of the country.
Yeah.
And they make the mistake of buying without knowing instead of renting and finding out.
Yep.
So yeah, that's what I did. Now, you know, if I was a couple or something, if I had a wife or a permanent lady, then it would be maybe I would think like, let's hang out at least for a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once you narrow your list down, going to different candidates for 2, 3 weeks at a time, and you
Hmm.
narrow your list of possibilities down, you gotta spend time in those possibilities. You gotta be there for the changing of the seasons.
Oh,
You know, is it too much
absolutely.
rain in this place? Is it too little rain? Is it too dry? Is it in the tourist areas during tourist season? You can't get no peace. You got to consider all that, and you
All of
can't do
that.
it unless you come and stay for maybe a good year.
You have to. I'm so glad that you said that because I kind of preach that to the ladies that I talk to. They're like, yeah, I'm going to Ecuador and I'm going to take out a 1 year lease, or, I want to build a house in Manta because they've seen the pictures and the videos. And sure enough, it's beautiful. But I say, you have to date a country, and you have to date a whole country, not just an area of the country, right?
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
if you think in Panama City is your vibe, then spend 3 months in Panama City,
Yep.
but then go to other portions of the country. Because, like you said, if you only stay in resort areas, that's not realistic.
No, it's
You're not
not.
going.
I agree.
Retirement and everyday life is not resort living,
I agree.
right?
I agree.
You
Yep, 100%.
How do you get to the market? Is it walkable? Do you need a vehicle? Do you want to have a vehicle? All these things have to be considerations when you're thinking about where you're going to settle. And if you jump into purchasing, I know too many people who have turned around after 6 months and said, this is not for me. And now
Me
you're
too.
stuck with a property.
Yep. Yep.
So do your due diligence. And I think that, like you said, part of that is spending enough time throughout the seasons. um is it mosquito season? Can you survive that?
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. That's right.
Come on, let's be real. Every day is not going to be paradise just because it looks like paradise on the postcard, right?
Yeah, you know it. And we got to roll on to language.
Oh, let's talk about that and my lack of Spanish. People like Diamond, you've been everywhere. You go to all these Latin American, South American countries. I know you're bilingual. I'm like, Nah, I'm not.
Ditto.
But at what point? Okay, so you've been there 10 years and you're still not fluent in Spanish.
Well, I'm not fluent. No, I'll never be fluent, but I can get it done.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know enough to get by, right?
Yep, I do, and I do
Yeah.
get by. But
Hey,
that's
well,
a
10 years?
consideration. That's a consideration.
Yeah, it is a big consideration whether or not you want to embrace the language, whether or not you want to embrace the culture of your new country, or do you want to be, you want that isolation, that seclusion, you come out every once in a while, like you, when you decide you want to be ghost. What kind of lifestyle are you really looking for? And if you're a
Yep,
very social person and you want to chop it up with the neighbors, then you got to have a certain level of conversational Spanish. Otherwise, you kind of lost in the sauce.
I agree. Unless you just hang around out with gringos,
And why do that? I
right?
mean, you could
Yeah,
do that in the United States, right?
right. I
I
agree.
know, I know so many sisters who are making Mexico. I'm going to use that as an example because that's a big expat country, right?
Yes, it is.
For a
Mhm.
whole lot of reasons. But there are some sisters who, they built little enclaves that look, feel, and act like wherever they came from. You know, you
I've seen that here.
you could find little Atlanta, you could find little New York.
Yeah,
You can find whatever it is that you left. But to me, doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of leaving?
in my opinion. But some people come here and do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Well, I'm in Barbados.
Yes, I do.
It's 30-day house sit, and somebody had to do it, so it might as well be me.
I admire what you do, by the way.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're
I
one of my
really do.
heroes. You and that couple I shared with you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I'm here, and I've told the story on Facebook, and I know you're not really on Facebook like
Right.
that.
Right. True.
But I was coming off the heels of my Costa Rica retreat, and I did not make accommodations. I didn't have accommodations for when I landed. And you and I talk frequently enough via text message, and you were like, "Well, where are you going next?" And I said, "Barbados." And you jumped right in. You was like, "Oh no, you got to get in touch with my
My
girl."
girl. That's my girl. She's in Barbados.
I have already told the story on Facebook, so I'm going to say Jillian, who was my first shared accommodation hostess here, and let me tell you something, she is a bad cook.
Hey, she offered that.
She's just a beautiful human being. I
Yeah.
stayed with Jillian and became part of the community immediately. And I'm talking like I'm in the neighborhood, right? Chilling with the people who come to eat every day, and so they just embrace me. But that is the beauty of being an intentional connector and reaching out to people. If you
What
and
you
I
call
had
that? An intentional connector?
I'm an intentional connector.
That's good. I
Absolutely.
like that. I like you are.
Thank you. I mean, it gives me great joy to reach out and touch people and share my experience. You can hear my charges
Yeah.
outside, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
barking at something. But yeah, she's a gem. And I had my 62nd birthday party at her family hotel. And it was just like a big old family reunion. It was
Yeah, I know.
fantastic.
That's my girl, man. I knew the moment you said Barbados, I said, "Oh shit, that's my girl Jelly stomping ground." So I knew it. Hook up.
Hookup. The hookup. I tell people, don't keep your plans so close to your chest that you can't accept or be open to help and assistance, right? I mean,
Right.
I would have been looking at those first couple of days. I would have just, of course, booked a hotel room somewhere and then been out gallivanting trying to find where I was going to be until my house had
Gallivanting.
started.
Gallivanting.
That's
Yeah.
what I do, man. That's what I do. That's my term, and I stick to it. I done trademarked it, right?
Yeah. 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 I know that. You were talking about helping people and stuff. I remember I saw a few years ago. I saw a YouTube video Denzel.
Yeah.
He was accepting some kind of actors award.
Okay.
And at the end, everybody, was talking about him. Then, the man of honor or the woman of honor, at the end, they say a few words. And
Okay.
he was talking and he reminisced about his late father-in-law.
Mm.
And he remembered one time in his career, he was kind of frustrated about things. And he went
Yeah.
to his father-in-law's house while he was still alive. And he asked, they were talking, and he said at one point in the conversation, he asked the father-in-law, he said, man, why in the hell are we here, us humans, on this
Mm.
on this planet? And
Mm-hmm.
he said his father-in-law thought about it for a minute and said, Denzel, we were put here to help each other,
Yes.
to look out for each other, to
Yes.
love each other. And I'm
Yes.
like, that's real.
That is very real. And that is really the heart of it. You know what I mean? I feel like helping, reaching out, paying it forward. Because no shame in my game, I live a very blessed life. I really, really do.
Blessed.
And so for me to be able to be a blessing to other sisters who don't even know they have the dream yet. They thinking about how maybe I can maneuver, but seeing me do it, I feel like if I had not seen somebody doing it, I wouldn't have known that,
Right.
this was a
Exactly.
possibility.
Exactly. Give all praise
So
to the ones that came before us.
there you go. There you go. So I say I'm blessed to be a blessing. It's not all about you. It's how you can pay it forward, how you can reach back, over, down, and pick
Yep.
somebody else up and help
Yep.
them to realize their dreams.
Yeah, when I realized that in my life, I didn't have no more identity crisis.
How about that? How about that? That is so interesting. I said
Yeah.
today on a post, I said, I there's a statement, create a life that you don't need a vacation from. You ever heard
Ooh,
that?
yes. It
So
ain't
I
work.
always,
You don't. I get it. I get that.
yeah, so I always equated that to purposeful work. But, I self retired 3 years ago. So I don't work anymore, but I have created a life that doesn't require vacation because it
It's
probably
not
looks like
work.
it's not work. It's something that I love. I love it and it loves me back. You
Then
know?
you are a success.
There you go.
That's what success is. Well, I saw that. I saw Maya Angelou said.
Maya Angelou.
Yeah, she said that something about. I'll send it to you. Happiness is loving yourself. I'll send it to you. But she
Yeah,
said
yes.
basically
So
what you
that's
just
right.
said.
It's liking yourself, liking what you do, and
Yeah.
liking how you do it.
Yes, that's it.
That's the key to life, as far as I'm concerned. But
Right.
it took me 62 years to get it, to really, really get it.
Right.
You know?
That's what I
And
that's what I meant when I said my search is over.
it's over. Panama's home for you.
Panama's home for me, and my state of mind, the way I look at life, is set. I mean, it's set in the sense that I'm always open to learn new things because that's the nature of people who have the curiosity gene.
Right,
But
right.
my
The
mother once told
curiosity
me one
gene.
time, she said, William, she said, you know what? Don't you have sense enough to know how to be happy? And
No, we really don't.
I said, Ma, I said, what are you telling me? She said, you got all this nice stuff and you're so busy trying to get more, you ain't appreciating this stuff you got. I
Mm-mm-mm.
was like, bing.
Being like a light bulb went off, right?
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
said, Mom, well, what is happiness to you? She said, happiness is peace of mind.
And it's priceless. Can't put a price tag on it. So when you decided that you were leaving the United States, and this is a big topic of conversation for those who may be contemplating, did you get rid of everything? Did you purge or did you put stuff
I
in
purged.
storage?
I left cars and clothes and grand piano, and I left with two suitcases. I went to Costa Rica. I arrived with two suitcases. I left Costa Rica with two suitcases. I arrived in Boquete with two suitcases. And I rent. And that's
Right.
part of my sense of freedom.
Yes.
If something happens, some unforeseen set of circumstances in the future, if I do have to leave and I'm not planning on it, but if
Yeah.
I do, I know I can just get up and move.
Get up and move. You know, my word is untethered. My
There you
life
go.
is
Yeah.
completely untethered. You talk
Yes.
about your two suitcases. I got two suitcases, and they're both carry on size, right?
Right.
Rolling bags. And I got a big backpack on the back and a small one on the front. And I tell people these bags are my life. If it ain't in here, I don't have it. And that's a sense of liberation that until you experience it, you really don't know how it feels.
Exactly.
You
Exactly. You're
know?
right about that. I thought
Yeah.
I knew, but I didn't because I experienced it now.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, people are always in the pursuit of more stuff. And stuff can consume you.
Yeah, you got to
People
take
get
care of it,
I mean, you got to take care of it. You got to put it somewhere. You know,
secure it. Right. I agree.
you got emotional attachments to it. We talk about that when women are trying to purge, like you can't get rid of your grandma's hats because they were your grandma's. I mean, like, at what point do you say this is no longer serving me in the life that I see for myself in the future? It might have served you in the past, but I know when I purged, I don't have space for any of that stuff, nor do
Nope.
I want it again.
Right.
you
And
know
like you, I realized that one of the most precious things is new things,
Mm,
new stimuli, new experiences, new discoveries.
hmm.
Moving on away from a way of life that we've had for decades for something fresh.
Yes,
I mean, we're talking about not having Alzheimer's and not having dementia because we're exposing our minds to new cultures, new ways of living, new people. You know what I mean?
I do. You're preaching to the choir with this
I
one.
know it.
Listen, I mean, I could not have imagined a better life for myself when I decided that, marriage was it for me, moving on from whatever was going on in life 5 years ago. I couldn't imagine the life that I'm living right now. And, my rear view mirror is completely shattered. I got no reason to look back, because the present, and that's what it is. It's a gift that I open up every day. And I'm anxiously excited about what the new day is going to bring me.
You are a success. If it's like that, yes.
Man, I mean, like I said, the level of liberation is just something that you don't even have words for it sometimes.
Yeah. And as well as me, you probably know better that yeah, it can be scary going from one way of life to a new one, but it's important that we don't let our fears cheat us out of new experiences.
Wait a minute. I promise my viewers that we did not talk about this in advance, but
That's true.
this is how on the same page we are, mindset, because my favorite hashtag is faith over fear. I mean, you put your faith in front of your fear and you keep moving, in the direction of something new, in the direction of your dreams. You don't, if you let fear stop you, it's one.
Yeah.
And
Right.
sure, do you have anxiety about going to a whole new country where you don't know anybody, you don't know the language, you just arriving? That's why I say create soft landings for yourself. Reach out to people. Somebody knows somebody.
Yeah. More and more each day too.
More and more each day. Because I'm telling you now, I had no clue I was going to have a bomb ass connection here in Barbados. you know so create soft landings for yourself. It helps to alleviate that level of anxiety that you may have landing someplace, and I'm somewhere where they speak English. you know
Yeah, exactly. That's to your audience. It's a big world out there, and if you know who you are, or if you know you want to discover who you are,
uh,
change your environment, do your homework, or narrow it down to a few possibilities, and and go and check it out.
Check it out. I mean, nothing has to be forever. You know, I know people who have tried it and said, no, that's not for me. Pivot
Right.
to something else, but at least you tried it. You didn't let your fear stop you from investigating the possibility. Right.
Yeah, I'm glad I did too. I'm telling y'all out there, it's waiting for you. You know, it might not be Panama, might not be
Right.
Costa Rica, it might be Portugal. Who knows? You know,
Well,
it might
shoot.
be Zimbabwe, and you know what I mean. Ghana. I mean, it's a big
I
world
mean,
out there.
listen, there is still so much of this world that I have not seen, experienced. Let's talk about the motherland. I mean, in June, I was blessed to spend 35 days in Morocco.
Oh
But
wow.
yeah, house sitting is the bomb. So 35 days in Morocco was beautiful. That was the first time that I had stepped foot on the continent of Africa. But that's that much of Africa. You know what I mean? Northern part. I'm ready to explore. So how can I say that, oh yeah, while I love Portugal, while I love Panama, I can't say any place is home until I get to Africa. I ain't even tried that out yet. We
There you
haven't
go.
dated. We haven't dated. And speaking of dating, because you did allude to the fact that you had been divorced, so how's dating in Panama?
Well, I almost got
I'm all
married.
up
Then
in your business, bruh.
I almost got married, then I didn't. You ain't got time. Nor do your viewers have time for that one.
Okay,
But
okay.
I got my irons in the fire, and I like. I'm gonna say something that off the top is gonna sound weird, okay?
Go ahead.
But I'm gonna explain. I like women better than I like men. Now let me explain what I'm talking about.
Blame
I mean, I
yourself,
obviously
Lucy.
like women in a personal sense, an intimate sense. I
Mm-hmm.
don't. That's the only way I go that way is with women. But
Yeah.
that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
But what I like, I was born and raised in a loving matriarchy,
Yes.
and from get go, I had respect for these women because they cared for me, and I got a chance right from day one to see y'all's resourcefulness, the
Mm-hmm.
intelligence that society tries to make us not see, the warmth of these women.
Yeah.
Uh, I was like, when I was a little boy, I wasn't like one of them kids that was like, ooh,
Yeah. Yeah.
girls.
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
went through that stage. I
Okay.
was like, ooh, there go Patricia Pleasant, or there go little Glendale Robinson, and I'll see y'all at the yard where we shoot marbles,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
going over there first and get a kiss on the cheek.
Get a
So
kiss on the cheek. Get a little bit of sugar.
yeah. So my thing is that I just really love and respect women. I like
Mm-hmm.
brothers too, but I'm that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I see women out there doing what you do,
Uh huh.
knowing how the world sometimes treats y'all, I'm like, nah, that's a woman. That's a real one.
I appreciate that. And
It's true.
it's really thank you. It's refreshing to hear you say that because society tries to tell us that men and women are so far apart in what they really want as far as relationships are concerned, just like we're enemies, and we're not. So to hear a brother say that about women is just refreshing. So thank you
Well,
for your
the
honesty.
reason I said that was a lead into that that I have two platonic friendships with females now, but
Okay.
every meaningful relationship I ever had started with being friends, being platonic,
That's the
because
foundation.
that's the foundation of any healthy human relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got my irons in the fire because
Yeah.
what has been platonic has become more in the past.
Okay.
But because I have two strong friendships with these two females, they're both growing, and I don't know where they'll lead to. But that's what's happening with me. But no, I
Okay.
don't have a regular lady
Yeah.
Not saying I wouldn't want one, you know what I'm saying?
I
But
understand.
I'm
Listen,
happy.
listen, wait a
I'm
minute.
happy.
The
I'm happy.
sisters have inquiring minds, so I'm
Yeah.
asking for the sisters.
I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy
That's
no
all
matter
that.
whether I is or I ain't.
There
Okay.
you go. There you go. But let's talk. Let's continue on this dating conversation just for a little bit. So when you first started traveling, you said you went to Costa Rica. You were posted up for about 14 months or so. Um, what I hear from sisters is when American black men leave the country, they don't want to date us. They
Oh, I'm
want to
not that
date.
way.
They want to date the local women, get that flavor. So a lot of sisters are feeling like, man, if I leave out single, I'm gonna be single for the rest of my life. But what I'm hearing from you sounds a little bit different. Keep hope alive.
My thing is friendships, strong, healthy, mutual friendships. I don't have many real friends, but
Hmm.
I got quality. You
Yeah,
know, like I know I'm human, and therefore, as a human, I need social interaction every now and then.
that's right.
I don't need as much as some people, but I know when I need it, and
Hmm.
when I need it, I go know where I can go get quality
Yeah, yeah,
interaction.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
because I tried to do a lot of people, but it's like putting not enough. It's like putting too much water in a washing machine,
mm,
and it's too much water so the detergent don't clean nothing. You don't end up with meaningful relationships if you try to interact with too many people. That's how I
yeah,
look at it.
yeah, yeah. I hear you. I hear you.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, for me, because I stick and move. So at the most, I'm gonna be someplace 3 months. So dating for me, after been having been married the majority of my adult life, is just fun. It's just it's liberating because there are no expectations. So, like you said, if you make a meaningful connection, then just go with it.
Yeah,
They have no
friend.
expectations on it, and I think that's where people get hung up is they want they want it to fit into a nice little box, like this is my this and label it, or he's my that and label it, and then I think that you're doing yourself a disservice.
Right, right. Because how did that line in the song go? Luther was singing, she want to be with me because that's where she want to be. You
Yeah,
know, or if you love somebody, set them free.
yeah.
And if they're with you because you want to. That's the level I try to deal with. I
Hmm.
want people who want to be around me to be around me because they want to be. They don't feel like they don't have to be anybody else,
Yeah,
that I listen as much as I talk, that they feel that I'm listening to them and I feel they're listening to me. You know how it is.
yeah,
And
man. I
so,
mean, everybody wants to be heard.
right, right,
Absolutely.
exactly. So there you go. In my mind, we're back to an earlier point in our conversation where we agreed it's important to know yourself.
Oh man. And you're talking about the freedom that comes along with not living in the United States and getting to know yourself. But isn't that really the luxury of time now? I mean, because I know when I was ripping and running and, building and hustling and grinding and being mommy and all those things, I really didn't even have time to listen to myself. I know me so much better now and I'm learning me even more, but that's being able to have quiet time, being able to meditate, being able to really concentrate. And that's a luxury that you really don't have when you're in the United States, still on that gerbil wheel.
Yeah, yeah. What you're right. If you're on that wherever you is, get off.
Get off. Push that stop button,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Know yourself and be all right with yourself.
Be all right with yourself. I mean, the woman that I am now is not the same woman I was even 3 years ago when I started this, global nomad journey. I didn't know I was capable of some of the things that I'm doing right now. Like I'm
Right.
talking on, I got a YouTube channel and people actually listen. Blows my freaking mind every time,
And so the house I'm renting in, I've been here for 8 years, and I made it my own. I made it. This place reflects my
Yeah, yeah.
personality, which is a big reason why I stay here. Because I've been to places since I've been here
Uh-huh.
that I think again, like I did the original thought on the first day I was here. I've said before, I can live there.
I could live there.
But why? I mean, that's a redundant question. That's a rhetorical question. The
Rhetorical.
reason why not I wouldn't leave because I've made this home.
Yeah, yeah. And so what you're saying is that you don't have to own it to own it.
Right. To own it. You don't have to own it. And so hey y'all out there, you go consider going out there and finding another place to explore. And if you decide to you know to stay there, then you do what you always have done. Wherever you're at, you make it your home. And I'm saying that there are places in this world
Yeah,
that are a lot cheaper, a lot friendlier to us. The culture is new and exciting. Um, the whole package,
yeah, yeah.
and without like Diamond was saying, without the grind
Exactly,
of
exactly.
our country.
I mean, we drove around with you quite a few days while we were there. Not once did I see you looking around to see if the cops were clocking for you. Not once did I see you tense up at the wheel, because there was a police
Yeah, I
car
don't
that was
pucker
coming
up.
or
I don't
going.
pucker
There
up
was
when I see
none
them.
of that.
Also, it says on their car, it says protect and serve, and that's what they do in this little town.
And that's what they do. They not looking for us because of our skin color,
Not
which
at all.
is it. If you have the opportunity to experience that once, I say when you can put that bag down, it's damn near impossible to pick it back up because it feels so good.
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it does.
And that to me is freedom and liberation because the United States will keep you as black as they can because certain things come along with that, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and being someplace new, someplace different, you get to experience yourself for yourself. Not the first thing comes to mind. I'm a black person. No, I am Diamond. Who is that? Right?
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, and
And
you
it's
get to.
exciting.
It's exciting. I love it. You know I do. That's why I keep doing it. That's why I keep doing it. So if you had, because we're just about at an hour, if
Okay.
you
Well, it's been
had,
an hour.
you know how we do. Time just
Wow.
fly when you're having a good time. I
Wow.
knew you were the perfect brother to bring on for my first part of the
Wow.
series. I
Time
know,
flies
right?
when you're having fun.
And listen, we had some fun. Wait a minute. I know that you don't indulge, but let me do this because I am looking for my wine sponsor. Wine sponsor wherever you are. I am the Gallivanting Grandma, and I would love to promote your brand. Salud, my friend.
Salute my sister, mi hermana.
Yes. Oh, yes, yes, yes. So if you had one piece of advice or one closing thought that you wanted to share with talk directly to the brothers in the United States. If you had one piece of advice or one closing thought
About the world.
about living abroad.
Uh, I, I would say consider out there, consider going to another place, other places, and once you have a list, really do your homework.
Do your
Go
homework.
online to sources, objective sources. That's
Hmm.
for y'all to figure out, and
Right?
do your homework. The economy, the climate, the infrastructure, good sewage center system, water, electricity grid, uh, laws,
Yep.
uh, population demographics, all that.
All
And,
of that.
and, and, and that'll make you trim the list down a little more.
It will narrow it down real quickly.
And then once you do that, go to them. And
Yes.
and really, and pay attention while you're there. Be objective and stay there for a while to get a full flavor of the places you're in.
I agree. I agree. And that is the beauty of house sitting, because I get to stay in a place for 30 days and better and really try it on,
That's a
and
better way, really. But
because I ain't got to pay to
you pick
stay.
your jobs and places. No, you pick your jobs and places, don't
I
you?
do. I do. Yep. So, like when I was in Boquete this year, I had already been to Panama twice. I had visited Panama City for an extended time period, and I also had visited Coronado Beach. So it was
Oh,
time.
wow.
Yeah, it was time to explore another part of the country, and that's why I say, just because you land in Panama City, don't mean you got to stay in Panama City. It's a
Right,
big
right, right,
country.
right, 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 right.
It's a big country. Maybe you want to be in the rainforest. I don't know. Maybe you want to be with the monkeys. I don't know what you want. But neither will you if you just stay where you landed.
Right, right.
Right?
I know a brother.
Exploration.
I know a brother from Nebraska. He loves Panama City. To him, that's the thing. Know yourself. To him, that's nirvana. That's
Right.
his spot.
Right. Right. And you'll get to know very quickly whether or not you're a city person, whether you're a beach person, whether you
True.
need, the mountains, the fresh air. I know I'm not a city girl. I tell people I'm from New York, they like, oh, you a city girl. I'm not a city girl. I like going in, doing what I'm gonna do, and come on back to some
Me
peace and
too.
quiet.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, yeah. So to each their own, and be true to thine own self, right?
See.
I mean, you ain't got to do nothing. That's freedom right there. You don't have to do anything.
Hey, y'all out there, y'all listen to the Gallivanting grandma and emulate her and get out there. They're waiting for us, and it's a big world out there for us.
It's a big
For
world out
this.
there for us.
This.
Yes. Love it, love it, love it. Listen, Boquete Bill, did anybody tell you today you the man? If they didn't, let me say it. You the man.
Oh, well, I don't know. I'm the man. That's not responsibility. I'm the man standing next to the man. But I appreciate it. I'm the first brother. I'm the first brother.
You the first brother. You got that title. You absolutely got it. You own it. You embody it. And I thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your experience. 10 years in this game is nothing to sneeze at. So thank you for sharing with my audience. And hopefully
My pleasure.
this conversation will encourage and inspire somebody else to give it a try.
All right. Well, y'all get out there. And if you're ever in Boquete, holla at me.
If he ain't Ghost, because he ain't the easiest person to find, but y'all holler anyway,
Flash your
okay?
skin. Flash your skin first.
I love it. Thank you so much, Bill. This has been an absolute delight.
It's been my pleasure, Diamond. Thank you.
All right. Y'all, this is the Gallivanting Grandma saying peace and blessings.